Good morning. How's everyone doing today? They're pumped? Super excited for this talk today. As Eno, our amazing MC, mentioned, my name is Pedro Miranda, formerly lead the consumer growth team at the Solana Foundation. We have Anatoly here, the co-founder of Solana Labs, and now focusing on Solana Mobile. And as Eno mentioned, first time, I think, publicly, Nikita, that you're here representing the Solana Foundation in an advisory capacity. Nikita, you're one of the most in-demand experts on the growth and the consumer side. So we're extremely excited to talk about how to go viral in this new digital age. But first, we have some news this week from Solana Mobile. A few things that you all announced. When mobile, you guys actually answered that. So August 4th is the shipping date for the new Seeker Solana mobile phone. You announced a net new native asset.
Look, it boots up.
That's awesome. In the
Finally.
Seeker ecosystem. You announced a new security architecture called TPIN. Maybe we'll get into that, what that actually is. And my personal favorite, you also announced that the Solana mobile software stack is available for other OEMs and hardware manufacturers. So I guess, Toly, we'll tee it off to you. What does the new news mean for users and mobile app builders in the Solana ecosystem and beyond?
So I don't know if I'm cursed, but I love hardware. I spent most of my career at Qualcomm, so I was there during kind of the initial mobile boom in the early aughts. I was working on these 2 megabyte devices, and I saw the transition from those flip phones to iPhone. And that was really kind of I think one of the most exciting times in tech, because in my view, a phone is almost like the final form of what a computer should look like. I don't think in 100 years this is going to change. I think we'll still be holding little slabs of computing devices with a touch screen that give us information. Then maybe they'll be a lot cooler, but I think it'll basically still look like this. So I really want to work on these devices and build something awesome. And when I started crypto and got into it, just of how these devices are manufactured, it was immediately obvious to me that you have secure element and secure enclave and all the properties that you want out of a wallet already baked into the existing technologies that people like Qualcomm and Apple were shipping. We just need the software to expose it. So this is where that idea kind of warmed itself into my brain. We need a crypto phone. That was 2017, 2018. And years later, when a Solana finally got big enough to where we have folks like Pedro doing all the work, I have the time to go work on this. That's where Seeker came from. That's where Saga came from. And what's cool, we can basically have hardware level, cold storage, security in a device that you use as a hot wallet, your daily driver, your daily signing device, with the UX of Apple Pay. So we can give developers this really, really nice conversion flow that you get on Apple and normal mobile devices, but it's crypto. And I think this is one of the biggest UX challenges in crypto to onboarding people is how do you get them to spend money? And if they have to go switch to a wallet, load a wallet-specific web app and all this stuff, I'm sure Nikita can tell you, the conversion rates are just dropping. Every one of these little UX friction points, you lose 10, 20% of your customers. So until the UX is as good as Apple Pay, there's no way we can actually get crypto fully adopted. And crypto is all about removing intermediaries. How do we remove the people in the middle and replace them with math? So TPIN is that. If you think about it, that little piece of hardware also determines in the entire operating system that boots up on your iPhone. Because of that little piece of hardware and the math that signs the certificate for the operating system, this is how Apple can actually enforce 30% fees in their App Store. This is why Epic can't sideload an app on the iPhone. They can't bypass that store and the rules that they want to enforce. And this is all because of the keys that Apple, the corporation, controls. But those keys are just math. We can put that math on a blockchain, and we can create a full loop that's cryptographically secured between the user that holds the seeker token and the wishes that they want to express in the rules in the App Store without any intermediaries. You don't have to rely on any people to actually enforce those. It can all be done with math. That's the exciting part. It's kind of a classic protocol Rube Goldberg machine, but it is purely just math and a bit of silicon.
So a lot of mentions in terms of the UI, UX challenges and whatnot. Nikita, I'm curious, how does this sound to you as someone focused on virality and product growth?
Well, as a developer, if you're a mobile developer, your biggest existential risk is the App Store, and it's particularly acute for crypto companies because they get the bulk of the rejections. Any developer who gets that email from Apple that says your app's been rejected, it's kind of like your heart skips a beat. You're like, is this the end of my company? So I think on the developer side, this is a huge opportunity. I think the other side is the ability to do microtransactions passively, potentially. As we've all seen, all social networks are now flooded with spam. So the ability to charge for posts in a small way to prevent spam bots flooding your X replies with LLM-generated responses. I think those types of UXs will be really conducive to the next 10 years. The hop from your app to Phantom is like probably the biggest cognitive load ever. Like, what is signing this certificate, approving this transaction? If that can be seamlessly happening inside of these mobile experiences, I think that's going to have better conversion rates, but also unlock whole new business models.
I guess, I've been wondering, as you all have been speaking, what makes this the right time to bet on this type of product experience? Like, why now? Is it the regulatory environment? Is it that the product embedded wallet infrastructure has gotten better? I'm curious about your answer to why now, Nikita.
I think there's going to be challenges, certainly, because the reason people come to the App Store is the distribution. But I think crypto, Solana has expanded its reach with meme coins, and there's more people have wallets now because of trading with Moonshot, and so I think there's an opportunity to where users want this, and if all social networks are going to be flooded with spam, and this is one of the vehicles to stop it, I think there will be there'll be experiences that might not even be possible on iOS or Android.
Totally, I'm curious your thoughts. You mentioned this journey from 2017 onwards and your love of hardware, but what's your answer to why now in terms of making this investment in this bet?
I honestly don't think founders think about like timing. They just get the bug and then they try to build stuff. So there wasn't like is this the right time in the market? It's just none of those thoughts like actually crossed my mind. It was more, I have a chance to go build this thing that I think should exist in the world, and then you work your ass off to try to make it true. And it is like basically then up to the gods if the timing worked out or not, which is why you see a lot of things launch too early and fail. So I think that part is really hard to predict. I think why now is because, why we were able to succeed in actually building a phone is because manufacturing for phones has kind of become commoditized. There's the supply chains, all the technologies, the materials to get to something that looks and feels as good as an iPhone have basically all been commoditized and accessible to people outside of Apple. To like any engineer can kind of, it takes a lot of work, but it is doable effectively. So I think you can build something that's as good as competing products and then figure out how to get traction and all of that is, a bit up to the gods.
I want us to focus a bit now on general virality in crypto, so zooming out. And Nikita, with your experience with Gas and TBH, you have been consulting and looking at crypto companies now. I'm curious if you see a difference in virality trends in the Web2 traditional app ecosystem versus in crypto. Will virality look different on Solana and in crypto compared to a BeReal or a TikTok, or will they fundamentally follow kind of the SIM pattern matching initiatives?
I think what we've seen in terms of virality in crypto has been the tokens going viral. It's like, you could say Pump Fun is a viral app on crypto, but most people aren't trading on the Pump Fun website. They're trading with their own on their own dexes and everything like that. But one of the key attributes for an app to go viral is I have these parameters in my head. It's 15% of users share content from your app, or you have users sending 4 invites. Crypto doesn't really have content in that sense, but there's been a great kind of first case study of it with the Believe app, where minting the token is a tweet, and that's created this kind of viral flywheel for them. But I think the other part is we haven't really had an easy way to get apps into the App Store, crypto apps in the App Store over the last decade. Until recently, Apple is now starting to approve many crypto apps, launchpads, and that's changed in the last quarter, basically.
Totally, I'm curious your thoughts since founding Solana, and you've seen different iterations and attempts from Magic Eden during the NFT craze, Drip House, Pump Fun, and now Believe app. I'm curious if you have any thoughts in terms of are these crypto applications going to look like these Web2, TikTok, BeReal viral trends, or is it the tokens as content going viral that we may be seeing early signs of?
I think it's still my instincts about meme coins is that it's like a Keynesian beauty contest, if folks know what that is. It's people betting on what everyone else they think will bet on. So you're trying to figure out what is actually going to be viral versus you have real signals of something that's viral, right? You're trying to predict what everybody else thinks is viral, which is that's the product. But how do you surface that and in an environment where you can create 50,000 potential tokens per day? There's a lot of spam. So a lot of the success, I think, of the apps that actually crack this and figuring out how to limit the spam and surface the things that are legitimately going viral versus not. And the content that's attached to them, I think, is almost less important than that curation process. And this is where the magic is. I don't know if there's a algorithm, right, to do it. I think the kind of content that it's most suited for is probably more things like streaming and things like that, where there is a personality that people can kind of get behind and for a long enough time to where the token's lifespan is actually valid. If it's just a short 6-second video, that's not enough time for people to, I think, actually all be watching the same thing at the same time. You're just kind of flipping screens every 6 seconds. Your attention isn't on any particular thing long enough for that to matter. But this is still a super hard nut to crack.
Final 30 seconds here, Nikita. What's on your wish list for viral applications for almost like a mini RFP for builders to attempt to run through the wall and try out certain concepts?
Well, Toli kind of touched on it. Right now, there's huge amounts of trading activity. basically speculating on how long a joke will stay funny. And that has, to me, like if you squint your eyes, like crypto still has always been about crypto, and it's never been about other things. And until recently, now we're having some symbolic sense of ownership of products and companies with the Believe app, this internet capital markets meta that's started to take off. I think when it starts penetrating these other spaces beyond just being speculation within crypto, we'll see more widespread consumer adoption. So there are actually a few other ones that I wanted to highlight that because it would be cool if some people built these. But I think there could be creator tokens is another category that I think no one has cracked yet. There's been like 5 different versions of this. I think there's a host of issues of like creators feeling responsible and creating a security. But my biggest, the thing that I think is going to really unlock a lot for crypto is how can it ever represent public equities, or how can I create a hedge fund where I'm investing in a variety of things? The regulatory environment hasn't caught up there, but I do feel like founders may need to kind of put pressure by releasing things and take some risk along with that. But one of my biggest skepticisms, though, is products that try to tokenize every piece of content. I think that over-fragments things. And I've seen a lot of different apps come to me saying, we want to make a token per post. And I think you really have to concentrate things under a broader movement. And I'm really excited about Pump's live streaming feature. When that's on mobile and people are streaming, creators are doing that, I think that's going to be a really great content experience.
So there you have it, folks. That's a call to action in terms of specific things to actually focus on and build at. Please give a round of applause, and great thank you to Anatoly and Nikita. Thank you all for sharing your insights.